Hi, it's PK on Solis. Welcome to unboxing part 2 of the Series 6 Solis Energy Storage Inverter. As you can see, the display has disappeared. This model has a number of indicator lights that are hiding behind the tinted panel here. They show you the main status, and the rest of the configuration is completed through the application. The inverter contains Bluetooth, into which you can attach your app locally, and of course, you can then attach to Solis Cloud and configure remotely too. Hiding behind this tinted panel, there is a battery indicator, a battery level indicator, a number of segments on it. There is a power light, which you can touch to wake the display up because the display goes to sleep when it's not in use. You have a Wi-Fi indicator, you've got an RS485 indicator, and at the bottom is a Bluetooth indicator to show it's bonded up to your phone. The DC isolator has been relocated to the left-hand side, a little bit like one of the other models. The unit itself is notably bigger than the previous RHI and S6-EH series. They weighed in at 333 wide, and this unit's 406 wide. The former models were 505 high, and this one's 560 high, plus a fair old chunk of space underneath for the comms ports, of course. But it is considerably shallower. It's only 205 deep rather than 249. It weighs considerably more. This is a 24 kilo unit rather than an 18 kilo unit, but the bracket has been improved, so it's a little easier to drop on and an awful lot less fiddly to try and balance it while hooking it over the bracket. So that's a bit of a bonus. We'll move on to have a look at the ports on the bottom and the connections in just a moment. Located on the bottom of the unit, this is a 6 kilowatt unit, so we have 2 PV inputs and 2 MPPTs, PV1, PV2. Battery connectors are here for your low voltage batteries, Pylon Techs, Pure Drive, those kinds of ones. These are considerably uprated in comparison to the former models. They also come with a 35mm tail cable to attach to a keto or isolator. Very chunky cables indeed. M8 ring terminal on the end to go onto your onward fuse unit or keto. We've got an AC grid terminal over here, connectors obviously supplied. We've got the EPS output, similarly, connectors supplied in the bag. New port for this one is the antenna port. Hiding inside here is a little SMA connector, I think that's what it is, for your Bluetooth aerial. Nice little cap over that in case you're not using it. There is a COM port, which is for your dongle. This unit's supplied with a Wi-Fi dongle, and you squeeze the cap and yank the thing off. You'll note there's a USB connector hiding behind that. And then right in the middle, we've got this great big connectivity port. Everything behind here is Cat5, so they've provided us with some waterproof grommets in there that you can punch out a little hole in them to take a Cat5 cable through. And if we briefly take this cover off so you can have a little look. There we go, a whole little raft of Cat5 ports. Ports along the top row here, we've got a meter port. That's a standard Cat5 connection through to Eastron SDM meter that's supplied with the unit, of course. Super interesting, we've got an RS485 port. This is labelled as used for Modbus RTU communications with third-party external device or controller. Now that to me sounds like HA all over, absolutely perfect. No more trying to splice into the Wi-Fi connection, into the comms connection for the dongle. You've got a port on the bottom of the router. DRM port, demand response port. One useful thing that you can do with this is you can shut the inverter down. So with a 2-pin connection, you can actually shut the inverter down remotely. That might be useful for triggering, perhaps, if you can get a trigger out of your car charger so that you can turn the inverter off while your car's charging. If you're a HA person, of course, you can just switch a relay through HA and tell it to turn off if that's what you want to do. A DO port, DODI, dry contact port. The manual describes this as being reserved, and I haven't yet managed to figure out what it does. At the bottom here, super interesting, parallel ports, PA and PB. You can parallel these units up to 6 wide. That applies to both the single phase and the 3-phase units, and you run a parallel link cable over Cat5 between the units and then ring it back all the way through the units back to the other parallel port here. Absolutely brilliant, fantastic feature. BMS port, standard CAN cable through to Pylon-Tex Pure drives, all those kinds of batteries. Uses the standard pin 4, pin 5, CAN high, CAN low. So on a C series Pylon-Tech, that'll be a straight through cable, any old network cable. That's absolutely ideal. And then a undescribed reserved port. Presumably this is a config port for Solis. And there are also a pair of dip switches here. Those dip switches set the identity for it when you parallel in the unit. They stay in the off position if you're just running a single unit, and there's a little table in the manual that says to how you configure those as to whether they're for parallel configuration. Really like this. Bluetooth config over the phone, absolutely lovely. You get a decent sized screen, you can walk away from the unit, you don't have to sit in a baking hot loft to configure the darn thing. That's lovely. All the config on there as well, and that's one of the reasons why the app's been extended 1 million times over the past few months to add in the features for this. Looking forward to getting this on the wall. Hopefully we'll do that in the next couple of days. If you've got any questions in the meantime, feel free to drop a line under the video. And if not, like and subscribe, that'd be wonderful. Cheers.